Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Monday, November 22nd, 2021. And our top stories today, banks are sending out more credit card offers. What do you need to know? And some terrible ways to save. I can't believe I'm saying it. Well, joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, George Grombacher is the Chief Community Officer with Money Alignment Academy. George, great to see you again. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Always a pleasure to be on.
All right, George, I got to ask you before we jump into credit cards and banks and all that kind of good stuff, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Oh, it's the turkey for sure. It is the turkey for sure. Good news, bad news. I've been on like a low carb kick, so I'm gonna have to push a lot of the other favorites away. But turkey's always awesome.
Okay, well, I think you're in the great majority there, George. Good save for the turkey growers or producers in this country, because we're trying to get them as a sponsor. All right, George, let's talk about, I don't think that's good. Frank Purdue. Let's talk about banks sending out more credit card offers. I got to tell you, George, we had some great numbers during the pandemic where people were saving. Now it looks like people are, even though consumer confidence is a little is down based on University of Michigan, but we're seeing more and more people expend credit. What do you have to tell us here?
Yeah, I saw that too, and my heart goes out to the credit card companies. If their profits are being reduced or cut, it's like, I just don't know what they're going to do. My heart does not really go out to them. And I did see that, yes, they are mailing a ton of new offers, and the amount of marketing dollars that they're spending have surpassed pre-pandemic levels and all that good stuff. So I totally get it. Their numbers are down. They want people to start using credit again. Great. My thoughts on that are, after reading the article, that on average, they were increasing the cash back from 1.08% to 1.11%. So more is better. So as you are evaluating a credit card offer, really dig in and say, okay, does that small increase, is that really going to be enough for me to make a change or to start using a new and different credit card? So just be a good consumer and dig into all of the fine print, even though there's a lot.
Yeah, and let's talk about that a little bit. First, let me ask you, do you consider it predatory you remember when we were in college? You and I are around the same age. I think I'm a little bit older, but we went to college and we got lots of credit card offers. People said, oh yeah, you can spend without any education. Now we've got Robinhood going on campuses trying to get more and more people to access the app and trade. Again, not bad initially, but what are your thoughts here about education versus, hey, just sign up. We're going to give you more. Don't look at the fine print.
That's fascinating. I didn't know that Robinhood was doing that, but it makes perfect sense. If I were Robinhood and it was my job to get more people to use my application, then that's exactly what I would do. And I feel like we've talked about this at some point, but I'd like to bag on credit card companies a lot, and I'm going to bag on Robinhood too. It's like a drug dealer. You want to get people hooked on your product. So you give them a little bit of a taste. Maybe you give them a credit card with a $500 limit or something like that, but you get them locked in. And so do I think that that's predatory? Yeah. I definitely think that that is predatory behavior.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. It's predatory in the sense that you're not giving education. Let's talk about education. You alluded to it and this is for everybody, myself included. When you look at these offers, you've got to look at all the terms, because the introductory offers, look, they try to, as you said, they try to tease you a little bit, get you in on the deal and get you locked in for 18 months with this nice deal. And then boom, you've run up a lot of credit. Really important to read the fine print, the APR, that's the rate that ultimately you'll be charged. The fees associated with it. So if you're transferring balances, the fees. You've really got to seek out to do education, and going to some of these websites where they analyze these credit cards, you may not, you've got to look at where they're getting money as well. They're being sponsored by some of these credit card companies.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I'm a big personal responsibility person, and I hope that everybody else is a big personal responsibility person. And it took me till I was probably 30 years old to understand what a basis point was. And I was working in personal finance, more sales than anything else. But it's important that people understand what a basis point is, because that's how financial companies like credit card companies and financial advisors, that's how they charge and that's how they make money. So that's really, really basic advice. And the simplest way that I can break that down is to think about a percentage like a dollar. So $1 has 100 cents. 1 percentage point has 100 basis points. So when I just mentioned a minute ago 1.08%, that's 108 basis points. And they're moving the offer to 1.11%. So that's 111 basis points. So as you are evaluating offers with a credit card company, small amounts do make a big difference. So it's just a matter of, how is this going to apply to my life? Is this going to have a beneficial impact, or do I feel like I'm being charged too much?
Yeah, really good advice there. Now, George, before we go to commercial break, I want to tie this back to I want you to put on the retirement plan advisor hat. And does this conversation, what we're having about credit card companies enticing people, and they could be workers at some of the companies that you're providing services to and others, but is this something that you're talking about when it comes to financial wellness, personal finance, the personal responsibility that you're articulating? Does this worry some of these employers? Like, okay, we want to do financial wellness, we need to help people, and now they might be having the wrong behavior. How do we stop that?
Yeah, it really is kind of a chicken and the egg kind of a thing. Somebody just asked me the other day, how can I motivate somebody? And he was talking about his kids. How can I motivate people to start taking proactive, positive, beneficial financial action? And that's always been a tricky one. Oftentimes we have to experience personal hardship or see somebody close to us experience some kind of a hardship to have that really kind of click that causes us to spring into action. So I think that's why it's always a matter of, we always want to be making new information available and doing our best to package it up in a way that's digestible and hopefully a little bit entertaining even. And that way we're positioning people to be successful wherever they're at.
Well said. George, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about some terrible ways to save. You're going to want to tune in. Stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. We're talking this morning to George Grombacher of Money Alignment Academy. George, thanks so much for staying with us this morning.
Yeah, great to still be here.
And I should also add, a huge lover of turkey, apparently, for Thanksgiving. George, let's talk about some terrible ways to save. And it seems really like a paradox, right? Because, or ironic, because is saving bad? But there are good ways to save and bad ways to save. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I thought that was a really clever article and a very clever headline. And yeah, for sure, there are great ways to save and great cuts that we can potentially be making. And then, yes, there are some things that kind of a third rail. Let's not touch that. I think one of the things that they talked about was don't stop paying your health insurance premium. Don't opt out of your annual physical. So those are certainly opportunities. And another thing that they talked about was don't cut out your latte. And that is one of those hot button kind of issues or items where if you love your coffee so much, like me, well then do more of it. My advice on that one is just to get a good sense of how you are spending your money and are you really enjoying it? Is this bringing value to you? If it is, then that's great. Do more of it. But just be honest with yourself and say, you know what? I'm just doing this more out of convenience than out of a love for it. And if that's the case, well, then that might be something that you can cut out.
And I agree with you. You shouldn't deprive yourself of something you like. You're just going to be miserable. At the same time, you shouldn't be taking out, in my opinion, you shouldn't be taking out a loan to pay off another loan. These are smart tactics that you need to apply. Saving is best done when it's done early and done often. That's the only way I can describe it, right? You start at age 20, whenever you start working, and you put money away over a period of time, and it grows and grows and grows long term. George, we still have to kind of hammer home, I think, this behavior and other really strong behaviors.
Yeah, totally agree. If in fact if we're taking out some kind of a loan to pay off debt because we're using credit cards to make credit card minimum monthly payments, well, then we're just kicking the can down the road and we have not actually addressed the root cause or the problem. So yes, that is bad behavior. That is a vicious cycle that we will be trapped in forever. So I think I heard Gary Vaynerchuk talking about it, said that people are so afraid to take a step backwards because they're so concerned about what other people are going to think about them. And that's a perfectly human thing. I am aware of what people think of me, and it's something that's on my mind. And my long-term health and happiness and safety should be the thing that is most important to me. And so therefore, making changes, if you need to make those changes, think about them as temporary changes. So you're not taking a permanent step backwards. We're taking a step back so we can get our affairs in order. We can get out of debt. We can start some positive financial behaviors. And once we do that, it might take you a year or 2 or 3, then you can add that stuff back in. And if a bunch of your friends stop being friends with you, well then, like your mom would tell you, they probably weren't your friends in the first place.
I agree with that. George, let's talk a little bit about financial literacy. I have been reading tons and tons of articles, whether it's Ohio, Wisconsin, states around the U.S. that are now including financial literacy in secondary education. And I think that's a good thing. It's not necessarily going to help people who have already graduated from high school and or community college. So there are things that I think we need to do at the employer level, going back to the financial wellness conversation, to engage people and teach them the basics and why it's important to pay off debt, but also don't deprive yourself of that annual physical, because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
Yeah, amen. I think it's nothing but a wonderfully positive thing that states are taking the initiative and implementing financial literacy or financial wellness programs and just doing a better job of educating. Because it's not enough to know. It's also not enough to you also need to figure out how to take and apply this information and make it real and sustainable in your life. So the more people that are working on that, the more information that's available, I think that's nothing but a good thing.
And I like what you say, and I kind of refer to you, I know I jokingly referred to you yesterday as BRN's philosopher king, and I think pushing back a little bit, taking a step back and reassessing, everyone needs to do that in life. I do that, my wife does that, I'm sure you do that. You got to figure out at different junctures of your life where and what is important, and paying down student loan debt or paying down a car loan or putting money away for a child's education or a nephew's education or whatever, really important to gain some insight. I think when you push back, you gain a lot of insight.
Yeah, amen. I think we all need to do a better job of minding our own business. And that really is a statement that is advocating for self-care. It's a statement that's advocating for putting your priorities and your needs first. And a big part of that is knowing what those are, to your point. So I need to know what's most important to me. I need to know where I want to go. Once I do that, we'll then put a plan together and start making it happen.
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to do some meditation, some yoga, and maybe listen to the Calm app to give me some thought into my future. George Grumbacher, great to talk to you as always. Thanks so much for joining us and sharing a little insight today.
Thanks, Jeff.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the information in retirement markets, technology, personal finance, so much more, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to see all of our latest content or search through our archives? Check out our streaming partners, Roku, Samsung, Amazon, and a lot more. We're back again tomorrow. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the First Lifestyle and Wellness Network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.